Good afternoon. I'm Jason Sterling. I am a member of the EA Creator Network. And today we're going to continue working here on the Great Geyser Wilderness Lodge. That's what I'm calling it. Make sure I am actually live here. I think I am. Hold on here. We're going to work on some landscaping today. There we go. Right here up front, as we can see right off the bat. Let me see here. Through those doors there by, I don't remember what this person's name is, whoever Sims lot I commandeered and, erased their home so I could build a resort. Right there by her, through those doors. Is our food court, right? So this is our food court here. We've got 3 different counters for ordering food. We also got a couple of vending machines here. I'm going to work this one in somehow as well. Let me go ahead and pull up build mode here. Now, what I really want, of course, naturally, we're going to have some sort of place in here to eat, right? But what I really want for this resort, because this is kind of a natural resort, this is all about the outdoors, all about being outdoors. It's going to be at a national park or something like that, right? They're in New Zealand. I want to have an outdoor, move our little baby here, poor little baby. We're going to move him inside. I'd like to have an outdoor eating area. And my thought was at first to do, I'm going to fill in a little bit of gap here on our paint. Drive me a little bit crazy. Look at that unpainted. My first idea was to have some tables and chairs just out here on these balconies, but that's not very much room to eat, and it's certainly not enough room for a family really to eat there. So I decided, well, let's build a deck, and we'll build a large deck here around this tree. That's my first thought. But then I thought, one thing I would love, and I don't think I ever see this, like I don't see it at Disney World. I don't see it any place, I guess, unless you went to an actual park yourself as a family. And that's what makes me think of this, because that's what I used to do with my son. Okay, so we used to do road trips, we used to do camping all the time. We've been to lots and lots of national parks around the western part of the United States. And a lot of times we would literally picnic, right? So we would picnic outside, under a tree, or in a park somewhere. And I thought, wouldn't that be great if you were like at Disney World, or if you were at Yellowstone or wherever, and you could just go outside and picnic outside the food court, right? You could have just a real picnic. So we are going to build a picnic area over here on this side. And my thought is, I'll go ahead and grab it. My thought is to put a tree here. This is my favorite tree in the game, by the way, this gnarled oak tree. First, it's like the only one I think that actually looks like a tree somehow. So I'm going to put this in here. So we've got, let's see, we'll put that maybe just one tree there, maybe. Take a look at this. I think I'm gonna pull it in here maybe just a little bit. I'm going to grab another one, make it smaller. I'm actually trying to open up the cheat box here. I don't know why it won't let me. It's weird. Huh. Because I need to intersect these, and I can't do it without turning on move objects on. Huh. I don't know what's wrong with that. Let me go back into live mode, and we'll try. That's really strange. It's not opening. the command box, I guess is what it's called, right? The command prompt box. There we go. Now it's working. Hooray. Whew. I about had a heart attack, you guys. I can't build without cheats. So, I mean, I could, but who'd want to do that? So, that didn't work. That's another warning sign, right? Move objects on. Okay, there we go. I really was about to panic. Let's turn on these other, I'm gonna turn on these other cheats too. Okay, there we go. We'll go ahead and we'll grab this here, this sort of tree. Maybe put it in like this. Let's turn it a little bit more so it's not quite so obviously the same tree, just a little bit smaller. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a fountain, or I'm going to put a fountain back here. I'm going to bring a little stream kind of out around this tree. And then maybe over to this area. And then we'll put some picnic blankets out here where Sims can come and picnic. And then over here, if you'd rather eat at a table, we're going to put, of course, we're going to continue working on and put in a place where we can have actual tables. I'm going to pull this like this. I'm going to try to leave a little bit of room here, of course, around the tree. Keep it pretty realistic looking. Oh, come on. Don't do that. Here we go. So we'll put this here. Anyways, I was saying when I was younger, when my son was younger and I was younger both, it was very common. We took a lot of road trips, and it was really, really common for us to stop and have legitimate, real picnics with blankets out on the ground in parks, you know, usually in parks. That was the most common place to do it. And so I wanted to reflect that here at this resort. This is a luxury resort. I am going to build something that is a lot more in keeping with the American kind of average family experience. I'm going to build what we call here a KOA, which is a campground. Campgrounds of America is what KOA stands for. And my son and I stayed there a lot when he was little. We did that. There was a big place where we would stay, and we'd throw a tent. You know, we put a tent up, and they do have usually some sort of little, what they call camping cabins. But we used a real tent most of the time. Sometimes I would get a cabin, especially if I was tired and didn't feel like putting the tent up, because I'd usually like driven all day long. That might be too low. Let me start more over here. So I'm going to build that next. So this will be our luxury kind of Disney World type of place. And then I'm going to do more of what my son and I did with tents and little basic cabins and kind of like common shower facilities, common bathroom facilities. But, you know, it was always a lot of fun. And we would, you know, we'd do a lot of cooking out. Let me get back here so I can see this tree. Don't want to run into the tree. And a lot of times, even though they were pretty basic, you know, sort of accommodations, there would be a pool there. There would be things like miniature golf. Now, we don't have miniature golf in the game, but of course, I'll put the new archery stuff there. And I don't know what, they'd have like game rooms, you know, sometimes they have movie night, just all the sort of fun things you like to do as a family. And of course, what we really like to do too is just kind of be outside and have a fire or start a grill. We cooked like all of our meals there. And then then just kind of, hang out, see the stars, all the usual sort of stuff. So that's coming next. Once we get this to a point where I'm not going to do much more on it until the actual pack gets here, then that is where I'm headed. Let's see if I can get this flattened out a little bit more. Here we go. Come on. Come on. It doesn't look, there we go. Maybe I can do it this way. Let me make this a little bit bigger. It's making me a little crazy. There we go. Like, come on, move. There we go. That's more like it. Okay. So let's pull up here a little bit. Maybe go out this way. And we'll go down here. That's pretty square. I know it looks pretty square. Once we get vegetation and rocks in around it, it's not going to look as square, hopefully. I want to have enough room here that we can really put some, blankets out here. See, I don't really like this. This feels a little bit too... I'm gonna just adjust it just a little bit. There we go. Let's bring it in just a little bit so that it feels a little more natural. Doesn't feel quite like I cut a square out of the ground and put, water in it. There we go. That's going to be a little bit better. And then we'll throw some water in here, kind of get us going to where we're going to be. Fill this up. There we go. Not too bad. We'll throw vegetation around this, put some rocks around it. We'll dress it up quite a bit. First, though, we are going to put in like just a fountain, right? Kind of a faux fountain back here. Like, it's not going to fool anybody. We're not trying to build anything that looks natural per se. Because this is a little bit of a, like I said, it's a luxury resort, a little bit theme parky. There we go. So I'm going to put that there. Let's go up here and see if it stuck through the wall on me. It did stick through the wall on me, so I'm going to have to bring it out just a little bit here. Bring it out here. And again, we're going to put a bunch of vegetation around this, so it is going to blend it up against the building a little bit, not look so much, again, like a pile of stones, right? Just dumped there with the water hose sticking through it. Like you might do as a kid. That sounds like something I would have done as a kid and been like, look, I made a fountain. I made a waterfall. It's funny, this pack, it does bring back a lot of memories. When my son was little once, we went camping and we went to kind of a local sort of state park here in Oklahoma called Turner Falls. And it has pretty much the closest thing that we have here to a waterfall, and it's fairly good looking. I do an edited version of this live stream or of live stream sometimes, and I will of this one. And I'll put a picture of Turner Falls on that when I do that edit. But we went there to camp and to see the falls, and the falls, of course, empty into a sort of basin, and then the basin trickles off into a sort of stream river thing like we have here in Oklahoma. Not much water, not much of a river, kind of like this, right? Maybe not even this much. But anyway, in that portion of it where it's really shallow and it's just draining away from the basin, my son decided that we should try to put up a dam. We should try to dam, the drainage of the water. So we spent, let me see here, what am I looking for? Basket. We spent, I don't know how long, piling up little rocks trying to build a dam during the, in this one little part of it. And that actually, it's actually one of my favorite memories of he and I camping like that. It wasn't, or even traveling all together, I would say. We've been to a lot of places, don't want to take away quite so much. I just don't want it quite so square there. Come on. But that simple moment at like a state park where we were camping is one of my favorite memories. Okay, I guess that'll do. Maybe some vegetation around it. It just looks really kind of square right there to me right now. So it is bugging me just a little bit, but I think it will be... I'm going to try to let it be okay. I'm going to try not to let it bother me. Let's bring our stream over here. And we're going to create a little bit of a sort of welcoming fountain over here. We'll put some kind of fountain, like a spray fountain, right? Not a rock fountain, but kind of a spray fountain over here. Here are the entrance. This terrain tool is a little laggy. It feels a little slow to me. I mean, we are getting the job done here, though. So I suppose it is doing what it needs to do. Again, that looks kind of square. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, I don't pretend to be a terrain tool master. That's the first thing I should clarify. I'm not a terrain tool master. Let's try to smooth it out a little bit. Maybe that will help. That's not too bad, though. I think that might work. And then maybe just a little bit of smoothing there. That's fine. And then we'll just stick a fountain here right in the middle. And we don't need much. We're going to just do this sort of standard... Well, I don't know. You know, I say that and then I see this. I really do want to use this, I think, somewhere. Should I put it like right here? I mean, you couldn't really go up to it, but it would be kind of a little distant sound of water over there. A little more movement by that tree. This came with Horse Ranch, right? I think it did come with Horse Ranch. I gotta be honest, I'm probably going to use Horse Ranch maybe even more than the new pack. I do like the stuff that comes with the new pack, but Horse Ranch has so many great things for a Western National Park style build that I think I'm going to use it a lot. We're going to use this large jet water fountain here. I think. Let's see how big it really is. Ooh, it's big. It really does go high, doesn't it? I think for now I'm going to leave it. I think so. Now, the bad thing is I'm not super sure about this over there, though. It does seem far away. Maybe we'll put it on this side. What I would love is if there was some way to make it look like this had a leak and the water was filling up the pond too. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there as inspiration and we'll see kind of what happens. Let's grab a little bit of shrubbery. This is like the only bush I feel like I use in the whole game practically, is because it really looks like a real bush, right? It's kind of rough and unkempt and just growing like crazy. I use this in the square one. So like if I wanted to look like someone takes care of the place, you know, naturally I use that little like trimmed up square one. And if I want to look like a real person lives here, then I use this. My son is 17 now. He's almost grown up. He drives, you know, he's got a car, he drives. He's all over the place. He's setting his life. He's planning all the things he's going to do. And it's crazy. We haven't been camping in a long time. A lot of the stuff I did with him as he got older involved cities and going places, stuff like that, going to those sort of places. And recently he started talking again about how he wants to go camping again. So I don't know if that's just him, because I'm kind of like camping. So maybe it just tied into him, or if it's just kind of like a memory of, when he was little, he just got so used to doing it. I don't know, but he has been, I'm going to go camping here. I want to go camping there. He's been kind of fired up about this idea of camping again, which I think is cool. I hope it's a holdover from when he was little, because that means he must have really liked it. Must have really had a good time. I mean, as a parent, I had a great time, of course. Let me turn it like this. But you never know with kids. But I guess he did. Okay, I think we can throw in maybe a little bit of moss in here or something. I always think these flowers kind of make really good water cover. I don't know why. They look like the sort of thing that might grow in like a really, really shallow kind of bit of water. When they kind of tie everything to the water to the vegetation and the vegetation to the water. And with that in place, I really don't need any moss, or anything like that. One thing I do need, and I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and put something in. I'm going to put in some dragonfly spawners. I love dragonflies in game. And I'm really, 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 really hoping, since we got this sort of new butterfly interaction with the new pack coming, that we are going to have butterfly spawners. Because I think that would be awesome. I don't know why we don't have more of this. Like, I love this sort of stuff. I think it's really, really cool. Like, I'm going to put a little swarm of dragonflies, I think, over here. Maybe put some here. And if we had butterflies, I'd build them all around this, right? So I'm hoping to get butterfly spawners, hopefully praying, hello, God of, video games, please do it. I could put some fish in too. Sometimes I do throw some fish in here. I guess we can let's try putting some in here maybe. We'll see. It might not be quite deep enough. Sometimes it looks a little weird. I had real trouble with the build I built recently, kind of lining it up where, they look normal in there. But we're going to try some there, and then we're going to try some more right down here. And if they don't work, I can take them out, or maybe I can lower the water level or lower the land under the water level so the water's deeper. Okay, and then anticipation of getting these new butterfly spawners, right? Since I'm thinking it, since I'm feeling it, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna put a little bit of I wonder what butterflies, what do they want to live by? Flowers, right? I guess. Maybe a little bush. Let's put a couple of little bushes in. I'm going to keep the bushes, I think, fairly small. Let's make this one smaller even. Because sitting here at your picnic, you want to be able to see this little fountain, right? And if there's butterflies flying around it, you especially want to be able to see it. But you know, the more I think about it, the more I think it would be so cool to be able to go to a restaurant. And the whole point of the restaurant is it has just a really big kind of park around it. And you just buy picnic and or rent, because it'd be a blanket. I guess you could buy the blanket. But the point is, you just, you know, for your meal, you get a picnic and you go outside with this blanket and you just sit outside and throw the blanket down, right? And have your meal. And then when you get done, you take the blanket back inside and kind of, you know, fold it up and give it to them. Maybe hopefully they wash it. Use it for another person. I think that'd be really cool. You could have all sorts of different choices, maybe like this type of basket, that type of basket. In fact, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just go open that restaurant real quick. It would take a lot of land probably, unless, well, no, it would. I was gonna say unless you're across from an actual park or right next to an actual park, but probably the city would be like, you can't use the park as your dining room for your restaurant. You're gonna have to pay us or get a permit or something. I don't know. Let's try putting that there. There we go. We'll do a little bit of those flowers kind of spilling down the hill there, and we'll connect everything together with a little bit more bushery. Landscaping, honestly, I love landscaping. I love the way it looks in game. I think it's probably the hardest thing for me to do is landscaping. I've got to kind of restrain myself a little bit, because sometimes I feel like it gets to be way too much, you know? Like I'm using too many plants in too many places and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But then at the same time, I do like a really kind of lush look. So it's really easy to kind of slip into that sort of trap. Okay, so there's the sort of start of our picnic area. I wish I don't know, I guess they have to be that big. I mean, that's the size of a sim. I'm starting to think I kind of wish they were a little bit smaller, but no, that's the size of a sim. So I got to be realistic here. And also I need to be realistic because this, you know, I'm building, and I do this a lot as if it's in real life, right? And like there's going to be 200 people here for lunch at this resort. And there's not, because there's only going to be 20 people probably, like max, or 20 sims. Unless I use a mod. If I use a mod, I usually push it up to about 50 on a lot, maybe even 100 on a lot, depending how brave I'm feeling that day. So yeah, there could be more, but even with those sort of numbers, I'm not going to need 50 blankets, right? I'm not going to need enough room for half the town to eat outside. Put those there. There's our poor little baby, happy to finally be inside, I bet. Now, I could throw some tables out here. I guess I will. I'm going to throw a quick placeholder table just to kind of judge sizing, because I hope that there's going to be, well, there will be. There'll be some sort of new table. So I'm really going to wait until we have those tables to worry about what I'm going to use out here. But I want some places where families can eat. So I'm thinking a bunch of 4-toppers, maybe like here and here. Again, this is probably too much. I don't think I'm going to need this much. I really don't. Put that here. So mapping wise, that looks pretty good. And then, I mean, I know chairs can fit around it. I really don't need to put any chairs around it. I know chairs can fit around it. And I'm looking for one as though I'm going to use it. I'm not really going to use it. Let's grab this one. This is an outdoor chair. Here we go. There. So that'll give us kind of an idea. It'll be more rustic than that, but that gives us an idea. I need some sort of landscaping around this. I could use potted plants. I could use fencing around it. I suppose I should put some sort of fencing around it as sort of, but I don't know. Do I need to? I feel like I need fencing around it for like crowd control, but even in real life, I don't think I really do. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to put any around it. For now, I'll just throw some bushes in here around this big tree. The old man tree of the forest here. That bush is really, really big. I know. I don't know if I'm going to leave it like that. I got to be careful because last I knew, am I right in thinking that like these can kind of interfere with routing? And then the Sims won't want to sit at that table because the bush is in the way. We've got a little bit of space on this side. We could put some sort of statue or monument over here, maybe of somebody important, like Johnny Appleseed or somebody. We actually have a statue of Johnny Appleseed in my town. Johnny Appleseed, if you're not from the United States, and maybe not even from like the Midwest, there's probably a lot of parts of the United States they might not have a familiarity with this sort of story, but Johnny Appleseed was supposed to have been like this guy who traveled all around the United States or the Western United States. And as his name would imply, planting apple trees or planting apple seeds. And so that's like why there's apple trees all over the place, except I don't think I've ever seen an apple tree in this town. I swear to God. I don't think I've ever seen an apple tree in this town, but that's like the story. And so on campus, University of Oklahoma campus, because I live in Norman, there is a statue of like Johnny Appleseed. And I guess the story is that he came and planted apples here, I guess, which I don't know. I've got bad news for him. None of them lived. So, but maybe he at least enjoyed his stay here. I hope he enjoyed his stay here and didn't feel like, he's dead now. Obviously, this would have been like forever ago. But, if he's looking down from heaven, I hope that he still felt like his visit here was good. I should look up and see how common that story is. That would be really funny if it's just some stupid Oklahoma thing. Although I cannot believe that we would have put a whole statue up just for some local sort of legend. But yeah, no, I could believe that, actually. I could. So we're going to put him there. That's Johnny Miner. That's Johnny Miner. He was like the first guy to this area. He was looking for gold. Unfortunately, there is no gold in this area. This area sits on top of an active volcano. That's why we have geysers everywhere and earthquakes. That's actually true of Yellowstone National Park. It does sit on top of an active volcano. So poor Johnny Miner there was digging away and hit a lava vein and died a tragic death. As happens in The Sims sometimes, he was a victim too. So that's going to be my story for that statue. Let's put this here. I don't know if I want to keep this landscaping like kind of wild all the way around the front. I want to keep that kind of open there, I think. So you can come up and look at the fountain and see the fish. Or if I want to go a little bit more formal up here, because I do kind of think to myself, well, I'd probably rather do kind of potted plants up front, like a hotel would do, right? But we could, I'm going to go ahead and stick in some squares, square hedge. Oh, I just noticed there in the corner, probably the rest of you can see it, just in case you didn't know, the September sale is on. Yes, EA did not want you to miss that. They're going to put it right there in the game for you to see with a little basket. Oh, that's no, I don't want to open the store. Thank you. I mean, you pretty much, if you use the EA app, you pretty much do open the store to get into the game. And you can see quite clearly that there is a sale. This looks too flat to me. I want to put something along here. I'll put potted plants maybe along here. I will. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do. You know what? There's one thing, though, that works really well with a lot of these plants. In fact, yeah, I want this here. And I want this. And then... And it's not quite Western, but it kind of is. I mean, it kind of is Western. It's a little bit Southwestern. It was obviously made, as you can see there, for the Selvadorada pack, right? Or Jungle Adventure. But see, these fit in there like so wonderfully. Isn't that pretty? So I think I can do these up here in some fashion, maybe like this. Well, maybe more like that. Well, maybe like that. Let's do it like that. And we'll put that there. It could be a little off the stone, kind of. I think I'm going to set that one a little bit off from the other one. And these particular things, I mean, they come in a lot of different colors, so I might use a couple of them. Let's maybe sit a couple of them out here. Make one a little smaller. These work great as well if you want to take like a fountain and stick inside there and the water comes up through it. That works really well too. And in fact, you know, I might do that. Let me grab one of these real quick. Let me I said there's one of the colors. They come in a lot of colors here. This is one of my favorite items. I've used this so much since it came out. It's like I might have hardly ever gone back to Selvadorada after the initial, you know, kind of run through, but I use this stuff from it all the time. I'll make that a little bit smaller. So then we can have kind of a little pot out there like that, you know, let water come out of. Now I do have to be careful because I don't want it to look like there's too much of the same thing here. But I suppose we could maybe, I don't know. We're just going to pretend like there's a local tribe here and they make these because there are a lot of Native American or, you know, kind of First Nation tribes in the United States around national parks in that area, up in those sort of areas. So it could be pottery from that sort of source. Now, what else could we put in there instead of, that would be kind of bushy that we could use? Oh, I think this works. Let me make sure it's kind of lined up here. Just sticking out the back. No, that's good. So we'll put that there. Now we need something small for here. One thing that I know will fit in here is bamboo. I don't really want to use bamboo. I'm going to use a flower, a sort of lusher, leafy sort of plant. You know, these work really well too. These are from Batu, but they've got that sort of like natural, like clay or stoneware or earthenware, you know, something made out of natural materials. They've got that real look to them. I think I'm going to use these inside in the lobby. I might also use them in the food court. So I'm going to pull those real quick. That might work somewhere too. Okay, I could probably use a million things out of this because there's a lot of good stuff in here. Can I use, what can I use though as another option for our vase? Oh, I want this too. Let me set that out. I can't always remember everything that will fit in that. I'm going to put that somewhere too, for sure. And I need 2 of those. The only way I think that this really works is if you put them overlap like that and then do like that. Because then it gives it a much thicker, more realistic look. Because otherwise, to me, that list just look really kind of two-dimensional. So I'm going to do that. Oh, man, I really want to use that too. I got to stop. I got to just find something for this pot and move on. Let me see here. And in fact, at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to just go ahead and use this. So if I bring this over here and I make it smaller, there we go. That's perfect. Hooray. Let me line it up a little bit better here. We're going to kind of eyeball it in. There we go. And then I'm going to move some of this stuff in here to our lobby gift shop area. I think I'm going to put this out here. Put these sort of items over here to go with our exterior kind of dining. Oh, and I want that. Let me have that. Now on this side, I'm not real sure what I'm going to do. Obviously, these are hotel rooms, so these are going to be patios or kind of, outdoor areas for these particular hotel rooms. I do need some sort of vegetation. I mean, obviously, we could do a pond here, but do I want to OD on ponds up front? Not really, but it feels like it could be kind of a natural thing to have outside the guest rooms. Let's go ahead and do it. I mean, if I don't like it, I'll just erase it. I'll always erase it later. So let's... How do I want it to look? You know what? I'm going to do it as a creek. I'm going to do it as a creek, not a pond. And I think I'm going to bring it. That's a lot. It's pretty deep, Jason. Let me roll it back. I'm going to just kind of snake it around the front of these rooms and line it with trees. And I guess really it could go all the way. Well, no, I really don't want it to go all the way back there. It could go all the way back there, but I don't think I want it to. I'm going to take it more like this. And just maybe kind of puddle it here. Oh, come on. There we go. Again, I guess I'll grab the gnarled oak tree, maybe. You can tell I like it because I actually know what it's called. That's how often I use it. I actually know what it is called. So let's put that there. And then maybe make a smaller bit of it coming out this way. Now I think I could throw a few placeholder trees in here around this sort of creek area, and I guess I will. I am just pretty much, I don't know. I'm pretty much convinced there's going to be new trees for New Zealand, right, for this new pack. And if that's the case, then how much of this how many trees do I really need to, kind of, how many do I need to place right now? When when I might want to replace a lot of them with new vegetation. And I suppose I should be a little mindful. I don't know. Would you want your windows that blocked in? If you're renting this space, if you're in a hotel, comment in comments, right? Comment in comments. Would you want your windows kind of shaded like that real heavily? I think I kind of would, in this kind of place, because it is like a national forest. So I would want that sort of, deep, shadowy forest kind of feel. I don't know if other people would or not. Maybe I should contact Disney, ask them how their people feel about it. Put that there. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of pretty. I do think that. So. And the crazy thing is, I just thought of this. All those are probably going to just disappear. Anyway, right? Like once we get into live mode, all of those are just going to disappear. But oh well. It'll make for pretty pictures. It will make for pretty pictures, and it will make for good pictures in tab. Like when I'm in tab mode. I knew someone once on Twitter, and that's kind of what she really liked the game for. Like, I think she used that a lot for the game. I haven't seen her post anything in a while because I'm not really on Twitter anymore. Really, not that much. I go in there and make a few posts, but I'm not really active there. But her big thing at the game was just taking pictures. I mean, just setting up situations to take photographs. And she took really, really pretty photographs. And you can take some really pretty pictures in the game. I mean, it makes for really gorgeous photography sometimes. And just like any photos, you can kind of go in and use Photoshop on them or different sort of, photographic tricks, photographic alterations. And that really was her kind of hobby with that. But again, like I said, I haven't been on Twitter in a while, and so I don't know. Even before I kind of stopped using Twitter, I think she kind of dropped off. This little yellow bush is one of my favorites. I don't know if I'm going to leave it here or not. I mean, I kind of want some color in here. And again, I'm hoping, I always have hope, that we're going to see some new vegetation with the new pack. Maybe that's why we didn't get very much vegetation with Enchanted by Nature. Maybe they were saving it for this upcoming Adventure Awaits pack. Now, the other thing I'm kind of a little bit ambivalent. I don't know, not ambivalent, but a little ambivalent. I don't know if I want to put like gates here or not. I mean, I kind of do, but then kind of like the parent in me says like, okay, like if I rented this hotel room and it's right outside this sort of creek, I don't know. I don't know if I want my kid going out that door and drowning, you know. Now, my kid wouldn't, because I paid a lot of attention to him. I always knew right where he was. And he was a good kid. But I think I could see people being concerned about that. Of course, the Sims probably won't care. I mean, you know, your average Sim parent, I think half the time forgets they even have a kid, right? They're kind of like, oh, I got a kid? Is that why is he screaming? Why is he screaming? Oh, he's hungry. Oh, CPS is here. Oh, okay. I guess I should be sad. I kind of forgot I had a kid and didn't feed it, but now it's gone. Let's put this in here. I would say The Sims 4 is better about Sims taking care of their children than, say, The Sims 3 was. I feel like The Sims 3, literally, you could find those little burrito babies just left all over town. Basically just dropped all over town. That's how one of my Sims in The Sims 3 actually became a father, was that he just found the kid left in like someone's front yard. And he just took it with him, and that was that. Let's see here. Let's put in a little bit of greenery here. Maybe I should make it larger. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I'm thinking I could put another fountain back here in this space, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to go with some stonework. Let's see here. Let me make sure my cheats are open. Sometimes these two that I just typed in, I know I typed them all in earlier. Sometimes those two reset. If I go back into live mode, they turn off. Let's see here. Now, there's a couple of places here I'm going to look for rocks, right? One place that works really well for rocks is cats and dogs. Another place is Snowy Escape. And I'm also going to check Horse Ranch, because with this being a Western build, I've fallen back on it a lot. So we're going to take a look here. You know what I should do? This just occurred to me. Maybe I should do this. I could put a little petting zoo with some of these little sheep and goats in there for this resort. Where would I put this thing? Maybe back here somewhere by the family area. I don't have a lot of room left, you know. 64 by 64 seems like a really big lot until you start filling it up. But that would be really cute. Maybe here I could put a little corral by the pool area. Let me grab one of these little buddies here. Let me put him down. Grab a little goat too, so I don't forget. Oh, let's get a little black one. Let's put a little black one there. Okay, so yeah, let's use those. Now I was looking for rocks. Here we go. We've got quite a few options here from Horse Ranch. I think these are all pretty huge. They are pretty huge. So they're like so big as to just almost, well, to be unusable in that space for sure. Yeah, that's going to be crazy. Shoot. Oh no, I hit the wrong button. I'm gonna just do it this time. Let's just look at Horse Ranch first. It'll give us less to look through. Mostly because I have this feeling like that's probably what I'm gonna lean into anyway. Now, what do we, this is all, I think, from the national park area. So it's like all huge chunks of stuff. Now this shrunk down might work. That is kind of what I'm thinking, but oh boy, it really floats high. Does not want to go any further than that. I can, down. I could, using tool mod, I could push it down further. That's always an option, but let's see what else we've got here. What is that? Grass, flowers, yeah. That might be it. So maybe I won't be using rocks from here. Oh, I can't believe that. Let's try. Are they both the same size? Yeah. Is this one just as big? Yeah. How about this? And this is just as big. That's the closest thing we've got. Oh boy. Okay, so was there anything in these rocks? This was here. So, but again, they're kind of wanting to float in the air instead of in the water. Okay, then we're not going to do that. Let's just check. We'll check our other options here. Like I said, snowy escape is a good option for rocks. Let's see here. I use this a ton with the fairies, these sort of things. See, it's not floating. It is kind of going down in the water for me there. Now, I would like for it to be a little bit smaller. And again, yeah, sure. I can go with tool mod and make that smaller. Even these are pretty big, though. This is just not a very big space, that I'm dealing with. That's not too bad, though. I mean, that's giving us a more natural edge. Nice little pile of rocks there. So a nice little sculptural pile of rocks. I think that's actually going to do. I think that'll be fine. Let's pull up some landscaping. And then one thing I used a lot for fairies was this particular stuff. So I wonder if I could work some in here. I like it best when it kind of appears to be, you know, growing out of sort of a crevice in the rocks. The bad thing is that coloring is a little bit odd. Can't place it in a pond. Okay. Okay, game. All right. It's like, we know what you're doing. We know, we see you. You cannot put that here. How about back here? That is kind of the one thing I hate, though, about any game, is when I can't just do what I want. I have a major God complex, and as God, I expect to be able to put this bush in this pond if I want to. So we'll do something like that. I think that looks pretty good. That gives us a nice little landscape background there. We do still have some, you know, kind of blank space here, and I don't know if it matters or not. Maybe, too, we'll just use something from the new pack. I don't know. Just lost my lid, did that, but that's okay. For now, I think I am going to leave it alone. If we get some little trees or something, I might put a tree back here. I guess I could put a tree back there anyway. Like, I don't know. A cedar maybe, or a cypress. I mean, I think that gives a pretty resort feel. I mean, it definitely looks like resort landscaping, right? Kind of, you know, kind of luxurious, a lot of different elements to it, a lot of different sort of parts to it. Let's go in here and we're going to try to tie the ground to our pond a little bit, again, with some more sort of stonework here. I don't think I have tool mod active at the moment, which I need to get it updated or see what the update situation is on that. So I think a patch is coming. I don't know. Maybe I should just wait till the patch gets here. But I could really use the tool mod in this situation right now, because it makes it a lot easier for me to deal with these rocks and sinking them down in the water just a little bit, so it doesn't look like they're floating in the water or floating above the water. Come on. There we go. I guess that's good enough. We're going to leave it like that for now. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we won't use that there if it's going to be too difficult to deal with. I don't know. It might work right there. I think it works right there pretty well. I do love that color of it. You know, like I love the color purple of that particular sort of wall-mounted flower. And like I said, I think it looks really cool when it seems to be growing out of the crevice of the rocks. A little bit kind of like a purple sort of moss almost. I mean, it's not. It is flowers. Let's make it small here and bring it up through these rocks. I think I'm going to take that one out. I don't think that one's going to work, of course, since the game will not allow me to put it in a pond. Now, again, with tool mod, it could stick it in the pond. I'm going to need to use some more spawners here. Probably some more dragonflies. Let's see. And like I said earlier, God willing, we're going to get butterfly spawners. I hope so with the new pack. I was hoping for those so much with the recent fairies, you know, enchanted pack. Oh man, I would have. There were several places I wanted to put butterflies, and there was no opportunity for that. But who knows? Maybe with this new pack, knock on wood, that's what we're going to get. I always feel like most trees like this should have some sort of anchor to the ground. Like some bush or grass or something growing around it. We could use green grass. I mean, that does work for kind of a forest floor. The area though so far I've kept pretty manicured. Maybe we'll do something like that for now. Come back to it later. Same thing is true over here. I could do just kind of a large triangular sort of section of maybe grass, but well, maybe not grass, maybe this stuff. let's see here. What do we got? We got the Hawaiian grass. You know, that might be kind of cool. Let's work on that. Let's lean into that a little bit more here. What I'm feeling and kind of liking is this idea of maybe a little path cutting through here. Let's pull that back a little bit. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think I'm going to create a little kind of cut through here, and I can use some terrain paint, kind of paint in a dirt path. And then we'll go ahead and we'll fill in this back part here with some more bushes, a little more wild bushes back through here. That way Sims hopefully will be a little more forced into the path that I'm going through all this trouble to make for them, right? I think that'd be pretty good. And then if we get some flowers with the new pack, we can tuck them in here, here, here. Create a dirt path through here. And on this side, I'm going to just use a little bit more of this sort of stuff. Now, if we don't get new flowers, I'll use these here that are with these bushes. I'll tuck those in. Do. And that creates a pretty good idea of a sort of winding creek around the front of this building for the people in these rooms to have a view, right? Nice little view. I'll come in with some more stonework around here later, kind of fill all that in. Same way here, the stones that we used over there, we'll use the same sort of idea here. I think I'm gonna put these maybe at each corner. The one thing I'm not real sure about is I don't know exactly where I want to put these freezer treats. Also, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to change this a little bit. We're going to move this out. Originally, I was going to put a table here, so I made it larger. We're going to put that back to its original configuration. And then what I'm going to do with these particular areas, I think I'm going to do like a drink station. And then a sort of pretend area where you'd grab, you know, plates and forks and knives and napkins and stuff like that. But I did really like the idea of having these vending machines here along this area, but now I'm not so sure because I've got 4 of them. And I guess, I don't know, I was gonna say it feels a little weird that the vending machines are kind of tucked away back here. It really doesn't because this is like a Disney World type of place, right? They would rather you bought your food here, which is more expensive. So I'm going to have to think a little bit about that configuration. Basically, it's what it comes down to. I'm going to have to think a little bit about the configuration of this area and those machines. What have I even got? I have like some sort of treats there. What does that say? Hot eats. And I know those are freezy treats. And then this is, I think, also hot eats. And then snacks. I think I could get rid of that one. It really doesn't matter. This isn't real. This is not real. But I'll just put them like this. And then if it really bothers me, I guess I can try to move them someplace else. Now for a drink station, there's not a lot for a drink station, really. I mean, we do have some stuff. I can put a couple of, like, where you mix up, a drink, like lemonade, that thing. Ah, there they are. Okay, so we could do maybe, let's put a rustic island here, rustic island here. Well, we've got coffee, we've got tea. Those machines are there. But I was thinking something like this. Or we've got this. I think I'm going to use this particular tray. Let's put that out there. Does it make, I think it makes lemonade. I think so. So it'd be really great for kids and for families. And then I would swear somewhere in here we have a hot chocolate tray, right? Do we have a hot chocolate tray? I think we have a hot chocolate tray or a hot chocolate machine. Is this hot chocolate? This is hot chocolate. So let's put hot chocolate here again because it's in the American North, sort of our national parks area. Gets chilly at night. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. That's what I'm looking for. I think also, this is going to be different than the other side of the building. So my first thought is not to do it. But I think maybe I'm going to put a window in here or just this glass wall. And I'm going to put this there as just a sort of, I don't know what, maybe an indication that it's something like you could put into your drink or your hot chocolate here at the food court, right? Straws, or look, it's got little dishes if you need some dishes maybe or something. Are there any other shelves? There are other shelves with stuff on them. What other options do we have? I really like that one because it's rustic looking. It looks like wood. We've got this. What is this? Oh, that's workshop. Okay. Okay, I'm going to just stick with that. When we have these two, I could do these all the way across. And they're rustic looking. Okay. Let me put that there. That's maybe a little bit better. That gives us a little more supplies or the appearance of more supplies. And I might put these over here, except they don't fit. So maybe I'm going to just save that there. I don't want to lose track of that. I might want to use it in here. Now, what I really want to put on these side shelves is I do want to put things like plates and napkins. And the one things that come to mind, and I don't know if we have more than this. I mean, this is just, I know that we have the setup from whatever what was that kit called? Birthday party or party or something? What do we got here? Mug trio. Ah, here we go. Party pack. So let's use that. We're going to put that there. That's where you're going to grab like the plates you need, the napkins you need, your silverware, stuff like that. Because again, it's a food court. So we'll put those on there. We'll make different colors for each side. Oh, wait. Let me take a look at that. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so what other ones do we have? We've got that. I don't think I really kind of realized there was these little, those void critters on it. Yeah, I'm going to go with those. Perfect for a family resort. Everything with like an animal's face on it, we're just going to pretend is a mascot for this resort. I don't have a mascot for this resort. But we can pretend like we do. Maybe I'll make one. I wonder if I can make that bear guy. You know, that would be really great. If part of our custom venue kind of setup, right? If part of what we could do is we could make the bear guy from like the National Park and Outdoor Retreat. We could make him work anywhere we want him to work and be the mascot running around in that bear suit. That's kind of what I want to see happen. Okay, so we've got those in place. We've got a great setup there for that. That's perfect. I'm going to darken up the sides of those a little bit. And then inside here, we're going to use whatever sort of tables we use outside, right? I'm going to put this little garbage can here, the little nano trash can. This is a national park, so we're going to use this little nano trash can that just vaporizes our garbage into nothing. Put one there. Looks like one of our employee is going home from our last remaining counter. I guess it was open. I'm going to move this baby back out here, out of my way. And let's see about how many tables could we get in here. Again, I guess we'll do them all as kind of four toppers. So maybe 1, 2, probably 3. I'm going to say like 4 in order to keep the traffic pattern pretty easy going through this space, because the Sims are going to need room to get up to our, our counters, as well as sit at these tables. So now, here in the back, I do want to do landscaped areas around the pool here, our indoor-outdoor pool. And you know what? Let's put... I don't know. I wonder if I should put some sort of tile in this pool. It's going to look a little more natural now that I think about it. I think I'm going to go with that. Let me zoom in here a little bit closer. I want to take a look at it up close. Eh. Yeah, let's just go with the pebbles. The pebbles kind of match the rest of it. Kind of the vibe I had going from the front. I do think I'm going to go ahead and carry over this flagstone from the front. We'll go ahead and put it here in the back as well. Now, my thought is walking on this hot flagstone, you know, would just be miserable in real life. Luckily, the Sims have feet made of lead, so we won't have to worry about it in their case. In real life, I guess, I don't know. I guess I'd hook up misters or something over it, keep it from boiling people away. I do think I want to put windows here. I just haven't decided what. Now, naturally, I could go with these windowed walls, which I've used a lot in this build. And I'm a little bit torn by that. So I think I'm going to wait and see what kind of windows we get with the new pack. Yeah, I think I'm going to wait, maybe try to utilize something from there. I'm also feeling like I could do a little bit more of a formal, formal gardening look back here. I don't know. Maybe. I kind of like that. So we'll leave it for the moment. Grab our lovely bush here. Put a little bush in. I don't think I like that at all. I'm going to take that out. What do we got here? Helium. Malva. Let's go with that. And then I can make this back a little bit smaller. Let's go ahead and take it back a little bit smaller. And we'll just do kind of a line of them here. I do feel a little locked in, though, like we're going to need to do the same thing. Basically down this whole edge, which I hate doing because I've got to individually place all of these bushes. But the good thing is once they're placed, I don't have to trim them or do anything to them. So there is that. Where's our little, there they are. I'm going to move them over here. Well, no, there's not really enough room for them though, is it? I thought I had 4 of them. Did one of them already take off? No, did it already take off? Or did I only have 3? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I wasn't that attached yet anyway, right? Though when they first came out and I was first playing Horse Ranch, I still love these. I still love these little guys. And I absolutely loved it. And I had one that, I just adored, of course, my little pet out there on Horse Ranch. And like all of a sudden it had just disappeared. Oh my God, I was distraught. I was like, where is he? I didn't think he could run away. I didn't know what to do. It wasn't like with a cat or a dog where it was like, your little goat or sheep thing has run away, right? And so I really was distraught. I was so upset. But he did eventually come back, just bounding up the little walk, up the little driveway. I was so excited. I had my Sim run out there and get him and pet him. Like, oh, it was like a little guy like this. Oh, just so sweet. And anyway, yeah, I was worried for a minute. I thought, oh no, what have I done? Why did he leave? I was trying so hard to give him a good life. Now we are going to put a gate in each of these areas because they were originally going to be hotel rooms and I was going to put a gate in there anyway. Move this over here to the hotel room. But now we're going to do it because one leads to the movie room and then one leads to a changing area. For when you're going to go swimming, right? If you want to change, maybe you're here on a day pass. I don't know why you haven't changed before you came downstairs, but you did not change before you came downstairs. So maybe you're here on a day visit. And this gives you a nice place to privately change or go to the restroom and take care of your business back here in these 3 sort of locker areas, I guess locker room areas. So we'll put some gates here so you can leave from there and go outside directly to the pool. Also, if you need to use the restroom, you could go through there for that reason too. Do. And you can see real quick how this, this is why I don't really like to do this sort of formal gardening because it's going to be a lot of placing here, but we're almost done. I mean, for this section, right? Of course, once we get back here towards the, where the creek area is, that will not be formal. We're not going to do that formal. Okay, so there we go. We've got that kind of in place. The one thing I do feel, though, is that I should probably outline this entire back pool area, or mostly, with just a few cuts to come and go from it. Oh boy, and I'm not looking forward to that idea. So, I think what I'll do is I'll do something more like this one particular, like long shrub, the cheat shrub. This one maybe. I might do that around it. Or even this is like, 5 or 6 long. So, and that looks okay. You know, that doesn't look bad. So let's put that there. Let's see here. Why is there 2 different ones? It's one of them lights up, doesn't it? Is that what it does? Festive hedgerow. Okay, so how much does it light up? Because on one hand, that might be kind of cool to have, you know, kind of lights out by the pool. No, I don't think I'm going to use that. But I am going to use these. I do think I like the way that looks. And it's so much quicker. Look at that. Look how quick it is. I'm going to make that one bigger. Let's go ahead and make that one bigger. We won't make all of them bigger, but we'll make that one bigger. And I don't know, I didn't really leave any cuts back here to come and go. I can change that later. Once this is placed on the lot in this New Zealand sort of national park area, there may be a reason to come and go from this side. But until that time, I think I can go ahead and just seal it in. I mean, most pool areas, you know, you don't have like, usually there's a big fence around it. I did not want to put a fence here. I wanted to keep it natural. So that's why I'm going for these hedges. Now, I will leave a little cut here. Why? Because there's not a bush anyway big enough to go there. So we'll leave a little cut there, and then maybe we'll put something here to justify it. So this is kind of the adult area. I could do archery back here. I could maybe do a butterfly garden back here. So you could come back here to catch butterflies in some way. If we're able to do that, if we're able to spawn butterflies, it might be a good place to do that. But we'll come up with something. Something, somehow, some way. Okay, and then we'll circle all that in, and I guess I could put a couple here. Got kind of a small landscape little spot there. We'll throw a few bushes in place, and we could put some pots out here. This is going to be where we're going to put our yoga, sort of, not studio, but a place to do yoga, sometimes for yoga classes. Maybe turn this way. And then when yoga's not going on, this can be used as a lap pool for the gym, which is through these doors. I can't even really remember what we need to do to set up a yoga classroom. It's been so long, but I think, I mean, I know we need this, right? This is, I don't even know if that's the instructor one. Let me take a look here. Instructor. Or is this an instructor as well? Yeah. So there we go. Okay, yeah. It's kind of coming back to me now. So we put this, and then within that square, we need to put the other mats that we're going to, put Sims on, which luckily it fits there pretty easily. So it should be easy to remember, map. So let's go ahead and we'll grab like green for the Sims themselves. So we'll do one here, here. I don't know. Can I do more than 4? I think I can. Let's try here and here. That feels awfully close to the instructor. Oh, well. So I'm going to try like this. I think it'll fit like that. Surely we can do 6 people, right? Surely we can do 6 people. I really don't remember if we can do 6 people, but I feel like we surely can. And I guess I'll leave it green. Let's just leave it green. Now I do still feel like I've got some space here to landscape. I hate to do it because I've just thought, well, I don't really know what the lot's going to look like, and I might want access, so I'm going to leave it, I think. And I still think I kind of want to take the creek back here towards the pool, or at least along this line of the building. Like maybe go real narrow for a little bit, right along the edge. And then maybe broaden out to a true sort of pond. Yeah, and we could put maybe, I wonder if a swan would fit there? Let's see. I think they're kind of big, though. I do think they're kind of big. Maybe we'll go for ducks. We've got a mallard duck. We could put an alligator in there. Swans, ducks, Mr. Duck. Mallards. Let's go ahead and put a few little ducks in there. And what kind of rocks did I use over here? Is this, I think, Snowy Escape, maybe? Yeah. It was Snowy Escape. So we'll go back over here. We'll activate our debug menu, and then we'll go in and grab a few Snowy Escape rocks and create a sort of definition here with at least enough room to kind of come through and see the ducks. You can see them from over here too. Well, it's not letting me, once again, pull up the box. The little cheat box, the little command prompt box? It's so weird. It did this earlier, like where it wouldn't open. So hold on. Earlier, I just went to live mode and then came back to build mode, and voila, it worked. So fingers crossed, you guys. guys. Fingers crossed, light a candle, do something, and there it goes. It does work. So as long as it comes back, I'm gonna be fine. Not have to have like, a nervous breakdown. That was another thing. Now, we cannot do this in game, but it was another thing my son and I loved when we would go camping when he was little. And or to the park or to anywhere, really. That was feeding birds and feeding ducks. And in our area, squirrels sometimes too. There's a lot of tame squirrels around the campus. And I mean, not so tame that you want to don't risk petting a squirrel. Because you might get bit. It might have rabies and you might get bit. But in general, you can throw some bread out to them and they'll kind of come up and get the bread. And that's pretty safe. That you're probably going to be okay with that. Let's throw this in here. But that was another thing that kind of, oh man, I loved that when he was little. Okay, let's take that out. Let's try something else. Where's maybe this one? It's an interesting rock. I don't remember that. None of these want to actually sink down back here as much as they did, on the other side. I don't know why. Yeah, because that's floating really high. Well, until I have the tool mod active again, we may have to just go with regular rocks. We've got this. We can use these, though. I did use those over there. Seeing how they'll kind of sink into the... That gives us kind of a very cool look. I think we'll put vegetation around it. It should disguise it well enough. And if we do one on each side, it gives us a little bit of the feel of maybe a sort of framing. Come on. Sort of framing out the pond a little bit. Do. It might be kind of pretty to use somewhere. Let's see here. For now, I'm going to stick with what we've been doing. I might go through later and, adjust that some, kind of pick out some more colorful things like that tree that was just there, shrink it down and put it in place. Again, the bad thing about doing that with that tree is that when we get close, it's going to disappear. And so sometimes then it looks kind of like you got a big blank spot there. Which is why I typically fall back a lot on bushes and flowers for decorating or for landscaping and nothing else. And I haven't looked. I should look at some point and see if there isn't just a mod or something to keep things from disappearing. I guess I think I would really like that. And I haven't ever looked. And I haven't ever heard anybody talk about it either. That's another thing that kind of makes me think maybe it doesn't exist, because typically something like that will kind of float around a little bit. Do, 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 do. I'm going to shrink that down a little bit more, and then because I do want to put it there, but I don't want it to stick out quite so much. Yeah, that'll give us a nice look there. I'm going to try to tuck, well, I think I'm going to try to tuck some of those purple flowers here that I've been using a lot. Again, it'd be nice to have a little burst of color there. And I just really like them. The other thing. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Maybe we can put some here on this other side. I don't know. Maybe tucked right here. Well, I don't know about that. Now that I have it there, maybe this side, maybe along here, maybe. Okay, that's not too bad. I think we can use that there. And there. Put that in. For goodness sakes. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then the water's awfully clear here, of course, very, very clear. I do think we could change it up a little bit, but I really don't know. I mean, I kind of like it clear, but it doesn't seem very realistic. I mean, that seems a lot more realistic, doesn't it? Kinda. I mean, it could look really, really clear if it had a real stony bottom to it. Maybe like that. That's not too bad. Maybe. That's from Get Together, I think. Yeah, Get Together. The other thing I could go in is maybe paint the bottom with pebbles. I'm going to test that real quick. I've never tried this. Let's see. Paint tool. So if I painted it with this sort of stone, because a lot of creek beds are kind of lined, you know, with rocks, pebbles, stuff like that. So maybe something like this, or... And then that does make it look a little more clear, you know, a little more... So if I put that down there, I mean, that's really noticeable. Really stands out. How about something more like this? That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Is this better? I don't know if that looks, you know... I don't know if it looks artificial, yeah, as opposed to more natural. That's what we need. How come we don't have creek bottom? You know, where's like creek bottom? Is that what this is? No, it's just rock. Rock storm. What I really need is creek bottom terrain paint. Now we got dirt. We got dirt for down there. That doesn't look too bad. That looks a little bit more realistic. And if I threw a few stones down inside there, let me see here. Just grab kind of our typical regular landscape stones. It's a good selection. Which ones? Let's go with these. Yeah, if I put a few of those down there, it's going to give it a more realistic appearance of being a true kind of creek. And then we can have that more clear water, that more clear sparkling water, and it's not going to seem quite so strange. And I might even go through and throw in a few touches of green here and there, so maybe it will look a little bit more mossy. But that would be great. You know, if they could give us like creek bottom terrain paint, and they would have bits of moss in it, right? And then mossy rocks as well in the landscape section. Kind of surprised we don't have mossy rocks. We have mossy kind of wallpaper, stuff like that. And for the moment, I am gonna leave it like that. I do think that's okay. I think that that's gonna look pretty good. Would this look like moss? Maybe let's switch it to something a little bit smaller. Adjust the softness. Yeah, I mean, it might take me forever to go through tinkering with it, but that might give us that sort of effect, maybe. Yeah, that might be something that might take a little bit of working with it, but I think it would look pretty good. We'll see. We'll see. If I change my mind, I'll just throw in this sort of like this. That's what it'll become if I change my mind. We'll just go with that or something like that. That. Brackish water. You know? Now, overall, I do think that gives us a pretty good idea of where the landscaping is going and where it needs to go. We're going to have very natural look to it. I really do like this area. Like I said, it really appeals to me to have like a restaurant where the point is to take a blanket and a picnic basket outside to have a picnic. So that really is, I think it's very, very appealing. What did I use here? What is this? Is this just regular water and just looks green? I mean, it must be, right? Is it just this stuff? I think it is just that stuff. So that looks pretty good. I mean, it's in a different area. That makes all the difference. Maybe it's just really green down there. I don't know. Anyway, I do know. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify. This will be the end of this particular stream. So yeah, please hit like, subscribe, and notify. There will be more streams coming. Now, I don't really know about this particular build until the pack actually launches. I'm at a bit of a point where, yeah, I could throw in more landscaping that's going to look like all the rest of the landscaping. I could maybe go through and outfit all the bathrooms, right? They're going to look like all the rest of the bathrooms. But when it comes to real work on this, we're pretty much done. We have our structure in place. We have our floor plans in place. We know what we're doing with all of our areas. And until we get the new furniture and the new coverings, the new landscaping with the new pack, there's not a lot else that we can do with this particular build. So my thought is that I want to do a KOA campground, a true campground for like families. That is probably going to be my next build. I also want to do a suburban home, like a home maybe for in town. It's not really a suburb. It's like a village, but maybe a sort of modern village. When I looked up things about houses in New Zealand, I was doing research on that. A lot of it was very kind of modern, had a real modern bent to it. So we're going to do a contemporary for New Zealand. So that's coming. So those are the next two builds. And then there's a fourth one I think I'll do as well. We'll see what I get done with those next two. The KOA campground is next though. Campgrounds of America-esque type of build will be next because that is the big memory zone for myself with my son when he was little. Camping was Campgrounds of America. So God, we stayed at so many of those. So many of those. So maybe some stories to go along with that build coming up in the future. So again, hit like, subscribe, and notify. And until next time.